Well, kia ora friends, welcome to this 45-minute Yin Yoga practice. This is a practice to turn inward to ourselves, to practice a little svadhyaya, self-inquiry, inner introspection, learning about ourselves, our inner world, our mind, our psyche, to understand gain a greater understanding and find a deeper sense of peace within ourselves, a deeper sense of unity with the universe, with others, with all beings. So we'll be doing a lot of inward poses, we'll be doing a lot of breath awareness. This will be a beautiful calming practice to bring us back home to ourselves without the clutter of the world around us. So I recommend that you take the time to set up your practice space, minimize any distractions. Please feel free to do a slightly longer ending to this practice if you like. If you want to turn this into an hour practice, you could finish the practice with a couple of really long twists, maybe legs up the wall and then a long shavasana. We'll mostly just move through a few poses today. As always with Yin Yoga, we just want to make sure that we have plenty of props. So I have 3 pillows here, I have 2 blocks, and these blocks can be implemented with something else. You could use books, you could use containers, you could use anything that's available to you. And I'll also be doing a video soon on how to make your own yoga blocks at home. And short of that, you want to have something comfortable to practice on. It could be a mat. I've got my beloved sheepskin here today, and plenty of blankets as well. You might be okay with 1. I tend to really love to have 2 blankets because I use mine a lot for my neck as well. So have all of that handy. Of course, with Yin Yoga, there's so many different ways that we can use our props to benefit us in our practice, and it really is a case of just trial and error, giving different combination of props a go. All they're doing is bridging that distance between us and the floor, or us and a sense of grounding in the pose. So we use them to bolster us up so that we don't feel too deep in the pose or we don't feel too little in the pose. We want to find that sweet spot where we can relax and breathe fully. If you're new to Yin Yoga, just dive in, give this a go. There's not too much to it. Just try and relax and enjoy the journey. So take a moment to grab whatever you need. Switch off whatever you need to switch off, close the door on whatever you need to close the door on, and we'll see you back on your mat soon. Okay, so here we are back here on our mats. We will be beginning in a comfortable seated position, so please feel free to sit on a prop, to take a blanket underneath the hips. Maybe today you take a pillow, or a block under the hips, whatever you need to be comfortable here. And just soften into the seated position, remove any distractions, make sure your clothing's comfortable. And simply close down the eyes. You might take the thumb and forefinger to touch in Jnana or Chin Mudra, with the palms facing up or down. Just settle into your frame, settle into your bones, feel a nice weight and length through the lower back, feel a gentle lengthening through the spine, the ribs soften towards one another, the chest softens, the shoulder softens, lengthening up through the crown of the head. So we're going to use pranayama to drop into this inner energy, this inward gaze, and we'll be using a slightly elongated exhale. So I'll be counting us through this. Please just join in as is comfortable. If you need to modify this pranayama, please go ahead. If you prefer just to take a full and slow breath, you could also do that. So we'll do this with the eyes closed down. I'm going to inhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Either just continuing with this counted breath or transitioning it into a simple equal inhale, equal exhale. I'm going to intend to continue our pranayama, our breath practice, as I go through a little bit of awareness, a little bit of intention setting. So let's just start to send our gaze towards the breath. And watch it as it moves in and out, however it's moving in, however it's moving out. Maybe continuing to intentionally place slightly longer exhales at the end of each breath. And just start to become aware of your physical body. Notice the physical body. Notice the limbs, feelings of stability in the bones, the softness of the skin. Notice any tensions here. Notice the breath, that gentle involuntary movement, expanding and contracting with each inhale, each exhale. And notice the mind, notice the thoughts that are present in the mind. You might notice that some of these thoughts are very recurring. Maybe a thought that you are currently addicted to or commonly grasping for, something that's become something of a broken record in your mind. Or you might notice that the mind's peaceful, already becoming calmer with each breath. Maybe becoming aware of something that's particularly present in your life at this point and just giving it that acknowledgement that it's craving. And gently placing it off towards the side. And we're going to come to a mental mantra, silently repeating to ourselves a mantra that was gifted to the world by Ramana Maharishi. And the mantra, or the intention is, I am. Just going to mentally repeat that to ourselves 5 times. And you may wish to keep that mantra with you throughout the practice. It has a magical quality to it of little by little dissolving that sense of identification with the self and broadening our sense to encompass a little bit more of our spiritual presence in this world, our spiritual experience of this lifetime, of this world, of this great experience that we call life. Maybe picking a mantra that speaks to you more, perhaps relating it to this intention of svadhyaya, self-inquiry. You could choose, I listen to my deepest self, or I am aware, listening to my heart. Or I'm open to my deepest wisdom. Something along those lines that rings true for you. May this practice be a journey of the self. Beautiful. You can keep the eyes closed or very slowly start to flutter them open. I'm going to come into our first shape, which is Balasana or Child's Pose. So for Child's Pose, this is very much an inward pose. We're taking a forward fold and we're letting the whole upper body melt down towards the earth. I encourage the use of props unless you're already aware that you can maintain Child's Pose without props in your Yin practice. So feel free to take bolsters for the chest, feel free to take blankets behind the thighs. Is a really nice option to soften this pose. You could take, one of my favorites when I'm using bolsters for my forward fold is to take a blanket and just give a little bit of space for my nose to breathe. So I often fold up a blanket and rest my forehead on a blanket. So whatever we choose, just take as much time as we need to set up our props for this shape. And we're going to let the torso just fall forward, but we want to give it lots of space as it falls forward, making plenty of space for the spine. And the wider your knees are, the more sensation you will have in the inner thighs, more of a deeper stretch around the pelvis and the groin. And you can turn the palms to face up, you can turn the head to one side if you prefer. Just really finding a softness in this pose, but also searching for that edge of sensation where we can feel a bit of stimulation, a bit of stress upon our connective tissue, our fascia. So please carry on finding that perfect shape for you, finding your sweet spot. And then just take the time to really take a scan of the body, notice the body. Have you softened into all of those spaces and the shape? Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere in the body. Notice the breath. As the breath becomes shallow. And you're always welcome to make little adjustments here as you go. I'll be letting you know when we're halfway through this pose, at which point you might like to make some changes there. And perhaps at the beginning of each pose, just taking a few of those grounding breaths, slightly elongating the exhale. Yin Yoga requires a lot of patience from the practitioner. We'll be spending anywhere from 3 to 4, 5, maybe even 6 minutes in each of these poses. Really a time to relinquish any need to know what comes next. To come into a state of timelessness and calm. And to turn our gaze inwards. And maybe just noticing, where does the mind go when you just let it rest for a moment? Does it get picked up by thoughts and carried back into those narratives? Does it go towards the sensations that you're feeling in the body? Perhaps you have music playing and it's listening to the music. And we can step into this quality of yin, of receptivity, of calm and peace by simply allowing our awareness to rest on anything that's tangible in the present moment, rather than any grasping for the future or memories of the past, just choosing to be here now. We're halfway through this pose. If you'd like, you can turn the head to the opposite side. If you've had it turned, you could readjust your props. You could come a little deeper. You could draw a little bit further back if you like. Just find what feels good for you. We'll be here for just under another couple of minutes. Starting to enjoy a few final breaths here. If you want to spend longer in this pose, you could always briefly pause the video and take a little longer there. And start to take 3 long and full breaths as your final breaths in this shape. Good, and once you've taken those 3 breaths, as you come out of the pose, just move very slowly. Carry this feeling, this quality of yin, calm with you. You could just sit back onto the heels for a moment, soften the shoulders, close down the eyes. Maybe eventually just taking the time to shift the props that you use for this pose just off to the side. You're going to take our full rebound from this pose lying down on the belly. So just slide the arms out in front of you. Extend the legs out long. Soften the hips down towards the ground. You could take a pillow with one hand on top of the other. You could turn to one cheek. Find whatever feels comfortable here. Maybe bring the feet a little further apart than normal. And we'll take a few breaths here in our rebound. Good. Take one final breath there. The next shape that we're going to take together, my friends, is a Sphinx pose. So there's many different ways that we can prop up our Sphinx pose. One really nice way is to use our bolster or our pillows to elevate the chest. So this can work in 2 different ways. What it can do is give us a slightly deeper bend if we allow the pillows to be closer towards the hips, around the level of the ribs. Or it can soften the shape if we allow the pillows to be closer up towards the upper arms, and that will create a much softer curve. So just feel around for what feels right for you. You can also use blocks, you can use blankets. I'll demonstrate one of my favorite variations for the shape, which will depend if you have blocks or something similar, is to just prop out my forearms on my blocks and let my wrists be relaxed. Get the chin relaxed towards the chest. You can bring the feet further out from one another to give a little more space for the lower back. You can slightly engage the glutes and just let them go to tell the lower back to relax. You could use a block for the forehead. So many different options. So just take the time to to find the shape that works best for you. I'm creating a slight contraction or pressure in the lower back, working the connective tissue, hydrating the fascia, setting up to create some release in our lumbar spine once we come out of the pose. So I'm going to be here for a few minutes, so just settle in. If this pose doesn't feel good for you today, you can always adapt. You could choose to lie on the back or the belly. You could maybe come into a fish pose for a similar effect, slightly different approach. This is lying back on your bolster or your pillows or your blocks. Once you've chosen the shape for you, really choose to just be here. Soften the thoughts, soften the muscles. Allow the awareness to stay with you, not moving back out there. Spend so much of our time letting our awareness kind of consume the world around us. Sometimes it's nice to just bring it back to our inner experience, to observe within. Notice anything that becomes present in the body here, any sensations. You might have resistance in the mind to this pose. This resistance might be something that you could learn from. Whatever you choose to do, cultivating long and peaceful breaths. And if you start to notice mental chatter, just bring it back to one thing that can ground you. Maybe to those long inhales and exhales. Maybe to the sensations. If you're playing music, you can listen to the music. We're halfway through this pose. If you'd like to make any adjustments, you're welcome to. You also have the option to progress the shape. If your body's inviting you deeper, you could come into what we call a seal pose, which is coming up onto the hands, pressing the hands out long, creating a slightly deeper curve for the spine here. You never want to feel a sensation that's too sharp or too challenging. Just working from 40 to a maximum of 70% of the amount of sensation that would be possible for us in this shape. Maybe you experiment with these extensions, maybe you find that they're not for you and you just come back to that original position. Good, we're going to take 3 final breaths here in the shape. Nice long full breaths, no hurry to complete all 3 of those breaths. Good, and once you've completed those 3 breaths, very softly, mindfully, start to ease your way out of the pose. If you need to, shift any props out of the way, come back into this belly down Shavasana. If you turn the head on the other pose, you can turn it to the opposite side now, or resting onto your forehead. And if you feel any challenging sensations in the lower back as we rebound, this might be a sign that you approach the pose a little too deep, and that perhaps next time you should try practicing the shape just a little shallower. Take a few more breaths in your rebound on your belly. Nice long exhales. Just noticing anything here. Following the second pose, what does the body have to tell you? Is there anything you can learn as you rebound from this shape? Just being attentive for a few moments. Good, and from your belly, let's start to make our way up into a tabletop position, so just take your time with this. From there, we're going to come into a dragon pose, so we'll be stepping the right foot through the hands. If you have sensitive knees, you might like to take a blanket or a thin cushion and place it underneath the back knee. If you have props, bolsters, blocks, cushions, what have you, you could use them under the hands or the forearms. And you do have the option to heel toe that right foot a little out towards the right side to stack the knee over the ankle and also provide a little more access to the muscles in the thigh and around the groin. So we want to take this step by step, so just find a bit of sensation and don't feel the need to go too much deeper than that to begin. We can always make our way in deeper as we go. You might start up on the hands if that's really for you, easy for you. Maybe you start on the forearms, but be attentive. We'd rather set up a good pose and have the body invite us deeper rather than having the body rebel against us the whole time and us need to draw back before the end of the pose. So take your time here, make any adjustments, support your body in the way that it wants to be supported. And start the process of softening and relaxing into the shape. Follow those exhales nice and long. Acknowledge the sensations that are present for you here. No need to judge our sensations or experience, just this intention to be aware, to be inquiring, to listen. It's often considered that we store a lot of unprocessed emotion or emotion that we're not ready to deal with yet in our hips. We can do this with any tissues in the body, but the hips are considered to have a particular tendency to hold this kind of emotion. So you may notice a little resistance here. Stay with your breath, breathe through it. Maybe this is an opportunity to let some of that resistance go. We're halfway through the shape. You might find at this point that you want to adjust the pose. Maybe the body is aligning you a little bit deeper and you can just adjust your props to allow space for that depth. Or maybe at this point the body's drawing you back. Just listen in. Find what feels right for you. Stay with it. Sensations of discomfort aren't always a sign that we need to run away or abandon the pose altogether. Sometimes they're just there for our opportunity to move through what's challenging, to breathe out what's stuck. Just under a couple of minutes remaining here in this shape. Stay with it, be with it. Breathe into all those spaces that are experiencing the shape in all its fullness. You tend to notice. Good. We're going to take 3 final breaths in this shape now, taking long inhales and long exhales. And then following those 3 breaths, just take the time to slowly, gently shift those hips back behind you. You might even take a cushion or a pillow and just sit back onto that, just to be able to extend that leg out long, find a bit of a counter pose for a few breaths here. So rebounding, this first stage of our rebounding, releasing the sensation, releasing the pose. And second stage of our rebounds, we're just going to come into a little seed pose. So if you used your pillow, you can even keep that there between the shins and the thighs, and just sit the hips back from there. Arms can be lengthened out long, or the hands can rest alongside the body. Settle in for a few breaths here. Nothing to do but breathe, nowhere to be but here. Good, and let's slowly start to roll up the chest now. And a prop, you can shift it off to the side. This time from tabletop, we'll step the left foot through. We can have our blocks either on the inside or the outside of that foot. If you're using blocks, you might be using bolster, you might not be using props, you might have your hands on the ground. None of these things are imperative, just be creative, find what works for you. This is going to be different for everybody, but we'll aim to set up the pose more or less the same on this side as we did on the other side, and just demonstrating all the myriad of ways that you can use these props. And feel free to heel toe that left foot out so that you have the knee directly over the ankle. And really settle into the shape. We're going to be here for a little over 4 minutes, so take the time to find that sweet spot. Maybe doing a few grounding breaths, long and full exhales. Perhaps you start to notice any differences on the side of the body compared to the other side of the body. Feeling into all those little sensations, all those areas. Maybe there's an area in there that feels resistant. And you could just send your mind to that area and ask it to soften, ask it to be soft for you. Ask it to let down all those layers of protection and just be with you here in this pose. And following those 3 breaths, you can move to your next phase in the shape. So you might readjust your props, you might choose to draw back from the pose, you might choose to go deeper, you could shift around till you find your new edge of comfort. Maybe you just stay where you are. You're going to be here for a couple more breaths. Sorry, a couple more minutes, that is. Nice long exhales as you settle into this new edge that you found. Often when we go on this journey of self-inquiry, start to notice that we attach ourselves to certain traits or certain thoughts or certain ideas of who we are or what we measure up to or what's important to us, and suddenly it appears that those things don't really have substance at their core, that they're more impressions that you've picked up from the world around you. And sometimes getting more is really a process of having less, of letting go of things that you thought you knew. Perhaps becoming more knowledgeable is more a process of relinquishing knowledge, of being wise enough to not know. To not know what you think about something, to not know what the answer is to something. A final few breaths, noticing the sensation, noticing the mind in response to the sensation. Just breathe through. And take 3 final breaths in the shape. And then following those 3 breaths, again you can start to very slowly lengthen up that leg if you like. Place a bolster between the thigh and the calf, maybe sitting back onto that leg, just lengthening up for a moment there. Good, and then from there we'll make our way into that seed pose for our rebounds. Take whatever you need to be comfortable here. Sometimes it's nice to have a pillow under the forehead to allow a little more space for the breath. And just settle into that rebound for a few breaths. Notice the body. Notice if the body, the inner world, has anything to say here. And taking just one more breath here. And slowly starting to roll back up. I'm going to take one final shape before we start to wrap up our practice. So for this we'll be doing a forward fold. So I really like to sit up onto one of my blankets for my forward folds, just to give me a little bit of help with that forward tilting in the pelvis so that it doesn't become straining for the lower back. And this forward fold is going to be caterpillar. This has the legs extended out straight. Now some people find this a really challenging forward fold. Some people find it too much for the lower back. So the alternative that I'm going to offer you today is placing the soles of the feet together and taking a butterfly pose. So with either one of those shapes, we can use our props to really make this pose accessible, comfortable and appropriate for us. You can use cushions, you can use blankets, you can use bolsters. They could be on top of the legs, they could be underneath the knees. Just feel your way around for what's right for you. And some people are happy to practice this without props. It takes quite a deal of flexibility, so just check in with what's right for you. Finding that Goldilocks position, not too deep, not too shallow. And just relax the hands, relax the arms, relax the neck. Maybe taking a few inhales just to lengthen the spine. A few exhales to soften a little deeper, a little more fully into the pose. And this pose is a total shape of surrender. Letting go of the weight of the upper body that we spend so much time holding upright. And just letting gravity have its full way with us, just to melt away tensions, to melt away the holding in the chest and the spine and the hips. Just let the body be like a dead weight, almost finding a state of shavasana in these shapes of complete relinquishment of any control of the body. Aiding this process of release, of turning inward with nice long inhales and nice long exhales. Maybe returning to the intention that you said at the beginning of your practice. Perhaps repeating that to yourself mentally 3 times. Noticing how you are honouring this intention in your practice today. We're halfway through this pose, so please feel free to make any adjustments, to change your position of your props, to follow that shape deeper if your edge of comfort started to recede, maybe to draw back a little if the sensation's coming too much. Maybe finding some more length in the spine, and settle back in. We'll be here for just over a couple more minutes. Most of the mind starts to become busy, turning it back to the breath, back to this moment, back to your inner sanctuary, to your heart, to your breath, for your deep set intention for being here practicing today. As best you can with all the sensation that could be washing through you right now, choose to relax and be calm. We're going to take 3 final breaths here. If you'd like to spend longer in this pose, you could always pause the video for a couple of extra minutes. And once you've taken those 3 breaths, you can very, very slowly start to roll up the spine, coming to an upright position, just resting there for a moment, no need to rush, making our way out of this pose stage by stage. And then mindfully placing the props off to the side. I'm going to come to lying on the back now, so here is where I absolutely love to take one of my blankets or one of my cushions and create a little bit of padding for the head. And we'll just be lying on our back for a couple of moments and rebound, so taking the easiest, calmest pathway to get there. And you could either have the legs extended out long, or you could place the soles of the feet on the ground and letting the knees fall together into resting teepee pose. And just allowing the awareness to rest on the body and the breath for a few moments here and rebound. And from there, we're going to take some dynamic twists before coming into our final Shavasana. So let's bring the feet extra wide on our mats. And from there, we can reach the arms out long for a little bit of opening across the chest. And we're just going to knock the knees side to side, just windshield wipering the knees side to side. Taking your time with this, it could be really slow if you like. Giving on the spine some love, bringing everything back to center. Maybe noticing anything in the body, anything in the mind. So we start to wind our practice to a close. Be coming back to your intention for practice. Eventually you can let the legs stay over to one side for a few breaths. Eventually moving them over to the other side, letting them just rest there for a few breaths. And then slowly bringing those knees back to center. We're going to make our way into Shavasana. So please feel free to take the time to put on any extra layers, to take any extra props, maybe place a blanket over you. I love to place some pillows under my legs to give a little more space for the lower back. And keep an eye out for my extended Yin Yoga ending video, which gives you a much longer end to your practice. Can be a nice way to bump the practice up to an hour or more. Otherwise, just choosing to take your Shavasana now. If you know you'd like to spend longer in Shavasana, you could pause the video and just let the hands rest out to wherever's comfortable. Maybe even placing a little bit of weight on the hips. I really love to just feel a bit more grounding in my belly and my hips. Starting to relax the whole body now. No Shavasana. Sending the awareness around the body and giving the body, each part of the body, full permission to relax. Relax the spine. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw. Relax the whole face. Relax the arms and the legs, the hands and the feet. Relax the body. Relax the breath. Relax the mind. Relax. 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 Allowing yourself to start to receive a deeper breath into the lungs. Maybe sighing it out through the mouth. Take two more like that. Starting to find some gentle movements in fingers and toes. Maybe extending the arms up above the head, taking a nice big stretch. You could hug the knees in towards the chest and take a little rock side to side. Shifting away props as and when you need. And from there you can roll on to your right side or whichever side calls you towards it. Taking a little pause here with the head resting in the bicep. And when you're ready, pressing your way up to a seated position. And just making sure you can be comfortable here. You might even take your blanket, place it on your lap or around you. Closing down the eyes for a few moments of silence. If you wish to join in for a closing Om, you could join both palms together. Take a humble tuck of the chin towards the chest, closing down the eyes. And we'll close with the sound of Om, starting with a unified breath. Inhale through the nose, sigh out the mouth. Inhale for Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our words, our thoughts, and our actions contribute to that happiness and that freedom for ourselves and for all beings. I humbly bow forward. Namaste. Please feel free to take all the time that you need to complete this practice. If you wish to go back to those final stretches, back to your Shavasana, just go ahead, find what works for you, and hopefully see you on your mat again soon. Take this quality of yin, of calm, of peace with you back out into the world, to wherever you go, and spread it and use it to give those qualities to this world.